I absolutely love the community here at Maxlvledc EDC. When something new comes out, you guys let me know. And man, when the Roxon Flex Companion was announced last weekend, my messages, my comment section, my emails blown up. Did you see the Flex Companion? Did you see it? Well, yeah, I've seen it. And here it is right here. I have it to show you. I have to show you all the cool things and all the cool ways you can get it discounted. And the fact that it is one of the most complete pocket knives I've ever used. So I have a lot to talk about. We're also going to talk about additional implement releases that will come on November 30th, how it works with the plier-based version, all the things you're going to want to know. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is the Roxon Flex or the Flex Companion? It's a system of modular implements and two different frames. Now, two different frames as of November 30th, 2024. So this is currently in pre-order, which is why we're talking about it. But you can also get the current plier-based version with many of the implements that are already available online right now. Now, I should mention the link down below that takes you to Roxon's website will automatically apply a 10% discount on the entire website at Roxon. So thanks to Roxon for doing that. As far as I know, this is a permanent code and should work whenever you use it. So if you're looking for current implementation, not the pre-order, that will be a 10% discount using that link. All right. Now, if you want to know more about the Roxon Flex system, I did an entire video doing like a beginner's guide. It's almost an hour long. So feel free to go check that out if you want to know more about this after. So I'm going to focus primarily on what is coming out, and that is the Roxon Flex, which is a pocket knife variant of their modular tool system. Now, they already had the K2 SE, which is a small pocket knife, but it's not modular in nature. And there's, it's good, but my goodness, when you can incorporate a full 1/4 inch bit driver as well as any implements that you want, the sky is the limit, right? You can really, really play with things. And that is what they have done here. So we're going to run through this real quick. We'll start with the bit driver itself. So we'll close all that. Open up the bit driver. This is actually a liner locked inline bit driver. It comes with a Phillips driver and it uses basically only standard 1/4 inch. It will not use Weha or Leatherman bits, but it will use the Leatherman bit extender or the Leatherman ratchet extender. It has no trouble doing that. So you can obviously use the Leatherman bits if you really want to with those extenders. Either way, standard 1/4 inch, probably the most versatile. It's the preferred one anyway, and you can get much higher quality bits using it. There you go. Easy peasy, one-handable as well. If you really want to, you can just like reach in there. I haven't had any issue doing it one-handed. I like the little lip that is available here. And if you notice, you have to buy the bit driver separately when you buy the handle frame for the pliers. Whereas here, it's integrated and you still get 5 implements, not just 5 implements, 5 long implements. When we showed the prototype a number of months ago, it only had 2 long implements and a total of 4 here. So this is a significant improvement in my opinion, and it gives a huge amount of versatility. So let's go over the tool set because a lot of people have questions. Why is this chosen the way it is? And you can blame me. You can absolutely blame me for what tools have been chosen here because they asked and I said, this is what I suggest. And I spent a lot of time playing with all the different implements. I want to be clear. I spent a lot of time thinking about this. And this is what I believe to be as good as I could make it. Prioritizing features that don't have any replacements. Okay, so that was a high priority. Pure function, not necessarily convenience. Now, a lot of people are going to be angry because it doesn't have a bottle opener. Boo-hoo, I'm sorry. If you need one, you can buy one. If you can't open a bottle with a flat edge, it's a good thing to practice. And frankly, many bottles have twist offs. So I didn't feel it was necessary. And when we talk about the flathead, I'll show you how many more functions are built into this particular one and why it makes more sense. Now the scissors is pretty self-explanatory, right? Scissors is, if I didn't put scissors in here, people would, yeah, they'd be upset. Let's just say that. So the scissors obviously have to be in there. And when you see the extra 2 implements that come with the companion, fully loaded, the fully loaded companion, it will start making sense how important those scissors actually are. So we have the saw, not a replaceable tool, right? It's a saw, period. You know, you need that. The next one is going to be the reamer awl. Now this is another tool that's likely going to be very contentious. It is not going to be something you're going to use to repair clothing, right? Let's be real. You're not stitching together a bunch of leather goods, but what you might be using this for is a package opener or drilling a hole or scraping things and not using your blade. And that is what it's really, really good at, okay? That's what's really awesome about it. And it's in line, so you can actually put some pressure on it. You can actually drill a hole so that you can get it started with the Phillips driver. If you ever had to try to put in a wood screw, but you didn't start it and you don't have like an actual drill, you kind of have to create some kind of hole initially to create some bite for the fastener. So that is one of the things that you do with it. Plus, it's an essential tool if you're doing any outdoor related activities. Now, in addition to that, we have the flathead, which you'll notice on one side has a nice little file, and it also has a depth gauge. So we have here, man, I'm having some trouble with the lighting here. Let me turn that off for just a second and let me get this a little bit more centered. Here we go, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So we have a depth gauge here, metric and imperial. On the reverse, we have the file, we have the flathead, and this is also going to work as a light duty pry. Now, not a heavy, no, like don't go crazy with it, but it'll definitely work as a light duty pry tool, which can be very handy and save your blade when you really shouldn't be using the blade. That is the reason why I've gone instead of this, okay? Look, what I'm going to explain later is you'll be able to get this frame by itself and you can build it up any way you want. If you don't like these tools, that's great. You can do that. But as you're going to see, the value here is kind of hard to ignore. So the last thing we're going to talk about is this D2 blade. So one-handed, finally, one-handable blade for the Flex system. Boom. Gotta love it. But not only are they coming out with a right-handable blade, they will be coming with a left-handed blade as well. And the left-handed blade will come fully loaded the exact same way at exactly the same price. For the pre-order, you'll be able to only pre-order the fully loaded variations of the Flex Companion, okay? But there will be additional value added because you're buying them all at once. So if you total up all of the implements, you get a $30 value. In case anyone wanted to know, the cost for the D2 blade, both left and right-handed, will be $8 as an independent component. So $8 for the blade. The rest work out to be around $22. So around a $50 total value, including the $20 handle. Once again, if you want to know, the base handle will be available on the 30th of November for $20 if you already have the Flex system. But that's not all. You're going to get that, and then on top of it, you're going to get a few extra components, including a redesigned version of the pen tweezer, and in this case, a sewing pin holder. So this is something that he added from the prototype that I showed before. It was one of the #1 things that people said they wanted, which is having a pin in addition to all the other things. So they did a little bit of improvement there. The pen also goes in a little bit further. So that takes up 2 layers. So that's going to come with it as part of the $50. And then in addition to that, you will also get a little beard comb or hair comb. And actually it works pretty damn well. It's not, doesn't pull on anything, and it's worked pretty well for me, and my daughter loves it. Which brings up an important point. Let me show you why we chose those 2 components specifically. If I take out the items with blades, which is the saw, reamer awl, and blade, I have 3 additional slots, right? So this will fit in there, just like so. And then I can take the comb, set that in. And now we have what is essentially not only a TSA friendly tool, but one that you could give to someone a lot younger. And then these tools can be added at a later time or for specific context. You see, does it make more sense now? Yeah, that's the reason why these things are chosen the way they are. And these are essential components if you're working in the outdoors. I didn't want any of them to be missing in the full lineup. If you wanted this as a inclusive system, it's already got a pretty good combination. And the exact same thing will be true for the left-handed version. You will get the exact same components. But wait, there's more. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. There is more. And the more is for the pre-order. And if you use the link down below that takes you straight there, you will get a 15% discount on the pre-order, making this $42.50. Okay? Do you need more value? Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so that's a big thing. You will be able to get this at a slight discount for the next 7 days. Very important. Next 7 days, you will get that 15% discount. All right, so feel free to use that link if this is something that is interest to you. Or you can simply wait till all the components go on the website at the same time, and you can buy the individual ones. All right, so whether you're buying the Flex Companion and you're getting the 10% discount on what you currently get, and you'll also be able to apply 10% automatically when these come out, you can get this instead for 15% off. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, please feel free to ask questions down below. It was even a little convoluted for me to understand as well when I had to work it all through. But yeah, there's 2 links. One will take you to the pre-order and one will take you to the general website. And that one that takes you to general website automatically applies a 10% discount to the whole order. Okay, it does not stack with the 15%. All right, now, this is not the only thing that's being released on November 30th. So now we're gonna move on from the Flex Companion. I will be answering more questions down in the comments, and we're gonna talk about the implements that are going to be released in addition to these. All right, so let's go through the additional implements that are going to be available on November 30th. We'll kick it off with this. Now, this was a design that had a surprising number of interested people. And actually, I think it's actually pretty damn cool. It's a fold-out ruler. It has both metric and imperial. It is a depth gauge, and it has a magnet on the end. And what's cool about this one is it's been improved over the prototype. The prototype had a much weaker magnet, and it just didn't really get the job done. So I'm really happy that they made the improvements, and that's going to be available. I am not familiar with the prices on these just yet, but we'll see when they come out. You cannot pre-order them, and that's important. We have the comb. We already talked about the comb. It works well. It doesn't have any flex, which is good in the sense that it's not soft. And yeah, I like it. Enough said. It's a great implement. Parcel hook and or wire pulling hook. I'm not exactly sure what the point of this thing is. Maybe someone can help me figure it out down in the comment section. Let me know if you're going to use this, how to use it, because I want to know. I need to know how this is used. My thoughts on it are, it's probably not worth it. Anyway, the next one we can point out is going to be an interesting one. It is going to be a brush tool. And I would imagine you would want to take this out of any of the tools you're using to use it, but it comes with a bunch of different bristles. You have brass, you have soft bristles, you have plastic bristles, etc. This isn't for me, I will tell you right now, especially because it takes up 3 layers, but someone out there who does restorations or some other thing is going to absolutely adore it. And so the fact that it exists, I just, commend Roxon for trying. Next one is going to be the package opener. Self-explanatory here. All of these, by the way, if not otherwise stated, are in 4116 stainless. Now, we talked about the D2 blades. Right and left-handed will be available. They will be available for $8. There is one change that will be made that's different from what you're seeing here. Right now, the thumb stud is kind of positioned a little bit farther forward. It will move back slightly, which will give you a little bit more access to the blade without getting in the way with the thumb stud. That's the only difference. Otherwise, these are exactly the same. It's also worth noting, you saw that it has a little bit of clumping, and that's the natural thing that's going to happen with any modular system. make sure you use the wrench that's included with your frame, because that's going to help you dial in the tension and make it a lot easier to deploy these one-handed. Okay, very important. You got to use that little tensioning wrench. Every time you change out the tools, the combination of thicknesses, which can be very, very minor, 2.01 millimeters. When you stack all those up, it makes a big difference. It can make it too rigid, too difficult to deploy, or it can make it too easy to deploy. You just have to adjust it, all right? That's important. Now, we also have a marlin spike, which will take up 2 layers. It's not for me, but maybe it's for someone. And then, of course, we have probably the most important release of the entire thing, which is the T-shank holder. And it has been updated since the prototype, which they sent out a while back, and I've shown in one of my recent videos. So this is also a lot longer. See, if I line them up, you can see just how big of a difference there is here. By shortening it almost half, like almost a centimeter, that's how much shorter it is, okay? It allows the actual saws to be stored inside the handle of the tool. Whereas before, I basically had to take the tools with me in a separate pouch. I couldn't just like keep it in there. See, that is a huge, huge, huge difference. Being able to do that and be able to accommodate not only standard T-shank, but also the much thicker Leatherman diamond file from the Surge. Oh yeah, now we're talking. And this actually is very, very stable. Inside, when you lift this up, you'll have small shims, like you can see here. These shims are important when you're using the standard T-shank, but if you are using the thicker one, you're gonna have to take out those shims, and then it will work with those as well. All right, so very, very, very cool design. I am a big fan. Other thing I wanna mention, for those who are gonna get this, they're going to inevitably make this mistake, so I wanna bring it up every time we have a video about it. This is unlocking the tool. This is all it takes. Unlocking the tool is movement that far. That is disengaging it completely so that you can remove implements. So don't push it all the way. That's disengage, that's unlocking, that's removal. Okay, so just keep that in mind, very important. Last thing we're gonna talk about, of course, we already kind of covered it a little bit, is this little holder. I really like it. I think it's a great update to the prototype, which didn't have the pin slot. And they actually included a sewing pin, a sewing needle that you don't even have to thread. You could just clip this right onto a string, because that's kind of the way this one is set up, which is kind of neat. It's got a little hook set up to work. Isn't that neat? I never even knew that these existed. Anyway, I like it. I like it a lot. And then if you want a straight pin that has a flat head, you can just go ahead and exchange it. And it has a little tension rod in there, so it should work with many different size pins. That's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. I'm sure there will be questions, and we'll probably have a follow-up. We'll probably do follow-up comparison videos. So if you have a specific tool you'd like me to compare it to, let me know. We will probably bring them in and talk about it yet again. With that, let's go to the conclusion. So that's the general gist of the Flex Companion. If you want to get in on a 15% discount ahead of time, you can go ahead and use the link down below for the pre-order for the next 7 days, or you can just wait till November 30th when everything is available, and you can then use the other link, which will give you 10% off the entire website. Whatever you want to do, it's just all available to you. Now, I'm sure there'll be tons of questions, and I'm sure you'll probably want to see this compared to a bunch of other tools. Let me know which ones you think you would like to see down in the comments. Also, I'll leave you with this. Did you catch the little Easter egg of implements that are coming out in the near future that I showed you without actually telling you? Let me know if you can catch what those were. As always, thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.